Hi, I'm Pat Hasey. Webcasting, hybrid meetings, and streaming live events. It all sounds like any tech-savvy person could do this for you, doesn't it? Certainly, your favorite AV company could use one of the free online services and stream your big general session. Sure, your video producer can just plug a camera into his laptop and go, right? So could your nephew or niece. They all use Skype, Google Talk, and FaceTime, don't they? Similarly, your whiz-kid brother, who knows everything and built his own computers, created his own website, is on every social media site imaginable, takes photos and videos wherever he is so he can upload to Twitter, Facebook, and Foursquare, probably could coordinate and run your general session AV and do it well. Agreed? Of course not. A professional meeting planner knows that their college sorority sister who planned the Pledge Week parties most likely couldn't plan your 3-day 2,500-person conference. We know it takes more than a casual approach, no matter what the event is. What I'm suggesting is that you need a professional company with the right background to help you with your webcasting, or even a combination of partners. You'll want a company to have experience in meeting planning and the technical and multimedia production side, as well as an understanding of hybrid events. Now you're also asking them to know webcasting on top of that. There are a few companies that fit that description, both small and large. There are also plenty of companies with expertise in the individual components. Event production companies, event management companies, meetings or event consultants. They may be qualified for the hybrid meeting aspect, and some audiovisual companies, the webcasting portion. Certainly, there are some companies that tie the two together quite well. However, you need to sit down and talk with them to see where each company's expertise lies. Frankly, I don't think that size makes a difference. What does make a difference is the knowledge and capability that they bring to the table. You also want that company or companies to be one that you feel comfortable with, as you'll be working with them fairly closely. Remember, this is more than hiring a company to perform a basic technical task. They need to be your strategic partner to assure that all is seamless and that you can work together on all the technical aspects to enhance your event. Actually, whenever you outsource a service, no matter what it is, you should feel comfortable with them, respect their knowledge and ability, and let them be part of your team. The end product will be so much better, which is always good for you. Now, let's talk about some of the basic technical elements involved in webcasting and hybrid meetings. You may have watched some events that were streamed live or possibly streamed on demand, and they cut out intermittently, or the video seemed to jump. Possibly the voice was out of sync. It happens, but can it be prevented? Can it be minimized? Truthfully, yes and no. One issue is the person watching from their desktop. Some home offices and even some small to mid-sized companies don't necessarily have enough bandwidth for a smooth video stream. There are solutions, but I'll get to that later. Just remember that this can be an issue. First of all, though the venue where you're holding the event must have enough bandwidth for the needs of your broadcast, your webcaster should talk with the IT department of the venue to determine the bandwidth available. At first look, it could sound like they have plenty of bandwidth, but how many computers would be sharing that bandwidth at one time? They can cut down on whatever is available for your webcast. Your webcasting partner, after resolving this, should go on site prior to your event with computer in hand and log on about the same time of day and same day of the week as your event to see how fast the stream really is. This is critical. Think of it as a meeting planner would. It's not too dissimilar to doing a SWOT analysis for the meeting itself. If at this time it's discovered that the available bandwidth would cause a problem with your streaming, then arrangements would need to be made to increase bandwidth for you. Then the next thing is you'll need to think about how your virtual audience will be viewing the event. Will they be at their desks, watching it on a flat screen in a conference room, on their smartphones, or all of the above? Also, will your viewers be watching on slow connections and old desktop monitors? Your team will have to take all of this into consideration when working out the bit rate and format of the broadcast, and that affects bandwidth. You don't want that group in the conference room to be looking at a tiny pixelated video on that big screen, nor do you want people sitting at their desks struggling to watch something their computer can't show them properly. Your webcaster and hosting service definitely must have the ability to broadcast multiple formats at once. Smartphones and iPads have different needs than your laptop and office desktop, and your broadcast will have to be done accordingly. Now, we don't need to go into the hard details of how this works here, but there is a way that the stream will know where it's going and adapt to that device or bandwidth, and voila! This is what's known as adaptive streaming and is a key hosting issue. It's not part of standard basic webcasting pricing, so it has to be figured out well in advance in order for your webcaster to know how to set up the output. Another thing related to when you do that site inspection and go to contract with the venue is the other activity at the venue. Generally, you want to know if there's going to be construction in the venue when your meeting takes place. You also want to know what's going on in adjacent ballrooms. What type of meetings or events will they be? For instance, the other day, I read an article about site inspections which noted that you wouldn't want to have your meeting with the International Society of Bagpipers on the other side of that air wall. That's all part of dealing with unwanted and ambient sound in the room. Making sure there's no hiss or hum is something you more than likely do routinely now. With webcasting, though, it's even more important. You're probably not aware of it, but air conditioning and some lighting, especially fluorescence, make a low-level sound that we generally barely notice and that we mentally put aside. But those sounds are picked up as really annoying background noise on the audio side of your webcast. Streaming media is converted and compressed into the appropriate formats, so bad sound is made even worse. It's essential to get it right from the beginning. Do you really want a racket stream live to your clients or attendees? Finally, there's the issue of audience size. You'll need to consider how many viewers will be online at the same time, as well as how many will watch your content later on demand. That's a key concern for your hosting service, as eyeballs cost money. Think of it like catering an event. For a lunch and a banquet, you have to guarantee an X number of meals so your caterer knows how many tables to set and how many meals to provide. Your webcasting host needs to know the same thing so they know how much bandwidth to allocate on their end. You don't want viewers to be blocked out of any important session any more than you want a dinner guest to go home unfed. Again, just as with anything else related to planning a meeting, this must be planned well. That's why I can't urge you enough to be sure that you pick your webcasting partner wisely and make that partner a true strategic partner, not just a vendor. The outcomes will astonish you. You'll be the star of your company or association, as you will have been part of a tremendously successful webcast or hybrid event.